We honestly don't know why it's run so long. And if we did, we'd write lots more shows just like it.
Or get them produced just like it, might be the other part of it. Because part of it obviously is inherent in the show and people making a connection with it, because if that didn't happen, it couldn't possibly go on. But part of it also has been the determination of the producer, in the early days particularly, Lori Noto, to let the show survive when other people, so-called shrewder or more hip or more showbiz people, might have closed it. In fact, he was advised to close it on opening night to save a little money. So it's the quality of the work. It has to do with the budget, but it also has to do with the determination of the producer and the production.
The early weeks of the show, there was almost nobody there. We got mixed reviews. People love now to say
can also be a
First 19, and now back to the Daily Number.
Fortune in the gold from the game show, the sale explosion.
$39, and there's a sale on coat. One advice, but most of all, they want to pick who will wrestle who in
the show.
The value line in
rain into
close the show when you
manufacturer #1 spinner bait.
The last pages are
Say, Jeff
said no.
I'm Bobby Rivers at the VH1
In the act.
Here on CB, making tracks to
was to release the secondary rights so that other people could do it around the country. Usually in those days you didn't do it until a show had closed here. And if we'd waited till the show closed,
Card to Am.
Here's what she says, and this is no,
Dealers don't need it.
The Fantastics at the Sullivan Street Theater off Broadway in New York. That's the way it looks to me on the stage lights. From the world's famous playground, I'm Tom Reagan.
Relaxing Music Radio. You're listening to FM 97. WF.
At the intermediate school in Ocean City, it's Cape Atlantic League basketball. Though this is not a league contest. Ocean City stepping outside the league in green against the Green Wave of Audubon. Tom Williams along with Butch Gleason, Ocean City battling for the tap, finally controlled by Joe Farina. Audubon comes into this game, Butch, with an 8-5 record, but at one point in the season they were 5-0, so they're struggling a little bit in January.
They play in that tough Colonial Conference up the road, and a lot of tradition in that Colonial Conference.
Turnover by Bob McAllister as the ball came loose, and Audubon with the ball. The man to watch is number 20. Shea Harvey is averaging 20 points a game. He's a 6-foot sophomore, but inside the shot is up and no good by Bill Grady. Follows again, no good, and McAllister clears off the rebound.
And if Harvey sounds familiar to people that know high school basketball, Shea's father, Lee Harvey, was a very successful high school coach at Audubon and a few other places.
And maybe here in this building, for all we know. I haven't seen him, but it's a Saturday night. Good thing to do is go watch your son play basketball. Traveling violation called by Pete Straub against Joe Farina. And Audubon with a good crowd here as well. They came down on a Saturday night to the shore. Maybe they're going to head over to Atlantic City or have a otherwise some sort of a celebration here on a Saturday, as we said, in high school basketball. Inside feed, up and good by Bill Grady. First 2 points of the game.
And teams always like to come to Ocean City in places like this because it's something unusual for them.
Right.
And they usually make a day out of it.
Teams from out of the area. That's McAllister, Ocean City's leading scorer. Bittner inside McAllister, and they're going to have a hard time. It's a small Audubon team. They're going to have a hard time controlling Bob McAllister inside.
McAllister averaging 22.8 points a game, one of the top scorers in the Cape Atlantic League.
That's right, trailing only Pat Pruitt in Division I. Audubon is 3-0 in non-league games. They are 5-5 in their league. Here's a foul on Joe Farina. Their non-league games are a win over Riverside and 2 wins in their own Christmas tournament. And Coach Greg Ogden in his 3rd year, 39 wins, 23 losses. They have already qualified for the Group 1 tournament. That's Grady. I don't know that Harvey has touched the ball in an offensive situation. Here's a turnover. They tried to bring it back outside to Rob Rossi.
Yeah, we talk about the benefits of a team coming to play Ocean City. A lot of people from Audubon, Paul Lefevre, walked by us and said he'd like to bring him in more often. It's good for the gate receipts.
Farina in low, through the hands of Johnson and out of bounds. Ball goes over to Audubon. Audubon is in 5th place in the Colonial Conference. The leader in that conference is Sterling, coached by our old friend Bill Hiltner. They are 13-2 overall and 10-0 in the league. So Bill Hiltner goes from Atlantic Community College back to Sterling and gets him right back on track again. Inside move and a bucket, a 10-foot jumper by Ken Whalen. And it's a 4-2 Audubon lead.
Nice fake, made that play.
Almost stolen by Harvey. Ocean City coming off a couple of fairly good efforts. They defeated Mainland. They also defeated Cumberland in their last 4 games, and a pretty good effort in a losing cause to Atlantic City. Turnover by McAllister.
Both teams a little sloppy here early.
A little pressure being applied. And nice feed inside. Grady was all alone. 4 points for Bill Grady.
Good look. Audubon showing a little token pressure.
That was Harvey pressuring Farina, but he gets it into McAllister. Whistle. Offensive foul is called against Bob McAllister.
And he's certainly one guy Ocean City does not want to get in foul trouble. It looks like they're going to go to him early.
6-2. The one thing Ocean City hasn't done this year, they've almost equaled their win total for last year. They're not going to make the Group 3 tournament, which is one of their goals, but they haven't won 2 games in a row. They're 5-8. And a whistle. Traveling violation against Grady. Tom Garr in his 2nd year, 11 wins, 22 defeats. But a pretty good bet to better that 6-14 mark of a year ago. Ocean City plays 6 of their final 9 games at home, counting this one. Farina feeds inside, throws it away. These 2 teams met in the state tournament a couple of times, including the year in which Jack Boyd took Ocean City into the state finals up at Princeton.
Of course, and it goes back to the late 50s when Ocean City was coached by Dixie Howe and Audubon by Johnny Kling, who a lot of basketball fans probably remember his name.
Green Wave setting up something offensively. They still haven't gotten the ball in Harvey's hands in a shooting situation. He's averaging a little over 20 points a game. Here's a jumper up and good from distance by Rob Rossi. Just a 2-pointer. 8-2. Audubon with an early lead, and this has been a problem for Ocean City. Farina did not draw a charge, but he turned the ball over, and here's a ball thrown away by Harvey, so it'll go back to Ocean City. Timeout called by Tom Garr with 4:09 remaining in the first period. It gives us a moment here to talk about these 2 clubs. Audubon Butch 8-5 on the year. We kind of mentioned that before. And they were 5-0 at one point, so they have struggled a little bit. And Sterling is the leader of that Colonial Conference with a 13-2 record. And Shea Harvey scored 30 points against Sterling, which is his high output of the year. Just a sophomore. So Ocean City loaded with sophomores and juniors. They're certainly a team of the future. And if you look down the lineup for Audubon, sophomore, junior, senior, junior, senior. So they've got 3 starters back.
Yeah, young clubs and teams probably not in contention for their league championships, but looks like it has makings of a good ball game, Tom. A little sloppy here early, but you know, I think that you'll tend to see that when teams don't know each other. And Ocean City has not played a non-league game in a long while, so.
Well, they played Middle Township, but yeah, I know what you mean from outside the entire Cape Atlantic League. We've got more action coming up this week, too, for you here on Channel 2. Tomorrow night, a special wrestling match, Vineland and Absegami, with Mike Bergen and Dan Slattery. And on Thursday night, Tom Getsky and Steve Parker will have Pleasantville and Oakcrest. So you get to see Ken Leary's 3-point shooters again. And take a look at Joe Piechowski's club with with Sean McConnell for the first time this year. McDonald. Still doing it from football season. There's a foul called. McAllister's going to go to the line.
And as you mentioned earlier, that's where Ocean City could probably really hurt Audubon tonight, is getting it into McAllister. And of course, the last time he committed an offensive foul, but this time he draws the foul.
Unfortunately, as you look at the talented 6'4" junior, this is his weak spot. He's a 57% shooter from the floor and a 54% shooter from the foul line. He has Ocean City's only 2, now only 3 points. He makes 1 of 2. Raiders trail at 8-3. Steal by McGonigal, but there's a whistle. He kicked it. Yeah. It's a good time to point out that McGonigal's in the game. Oh, Audubon kicked it.
Yeah.
Ocean City does come up with the ball then. McAllister puts it into play. That's Bittner. Got to be one of the leading 3-point percentage shooters in the league, if not South Jersey. He's shooting almost 60% from the 3-point line. Johnston. McAllister can't get inside. That's Johnston. McAllister forces it up, and a whistle. He's fouled. He'll go to the line again.
I think Audubon's going to take a timeout here.
Second foul on Whalen, which might be part of the reason for the timeout, though Greg Ogden is apparently questioning that call. 8-3 is the, yeah, there's Greg.
I think he thinks it was an offensive foul, and it was one of those close.
He looks like a high school junior, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He questioned that whole discussion. He had a smile on his face. So, while he may be upset about the decision, he wasn't upset to the point of losing his cool. This is the first time this year we've seen a team other than the teams in our immediate area in our coverage of Scholastic Sports on Channel 2, but we've got some more opportunities coming up in the later parts of the year. Bayonne will play Atlantic City. You'll see that on Channel 2. The annual rivalry game, which might, Butch, be the biggest basketball rivalry in New Jersey, is Trenton and Atlantic City. They've played back in the 20s and 30s, I understand, had some great games then, and we've seen some great games both in our radio and television coverage over the years. And Trenton, as we speak, is 13-1. They're in the top 10 or 12 in the state, and it looks like they're going to be an outstanding team again. They come to Atlantic City. You'll see that later in the year. And, of course, Bridgeton and Atlantic City you'll see on Channel 2, which looks like it might decide the champion again. And Bridgeton's not exactly a team unfamiliar to you, but they're not in our immediate 8-school area. So some good games coming up. And then, of course, the state tournament is already 3, 4, maybe 5 teams in the tournament. McAllister hits them both this time. He's 3 for 4 on the line. He has 5 points, and that's how many Ocean City has. 8-5 Audubon. Rossi. They still haven't gotten the ball in Harvey's hands, and a large part of the reason is Jim Johnston right there, number 20. That was Harvey, but he couldn't get into a shooting situation. Shot in the lane is up and good by Pete DiLorenzo. So everybody has scored for Audubon except their leading scorer, Shea Harvey. Here's a whistle and a foul on Harvey in the backcourt.
Yeah, I think it was one of those reaching fouls, and it's going to be Ocean City's ball.
Third team foul against the Green Wave. Of course, the Red Raiders are familiar to the Green Wave because that's Paulsboro's nickname as well.
Yeah.
They're in the same conference. Paulsboro, I think, is in second place behind Sterling in boys basketball. Of course, the Sterling girls are the best in South Jersey and the third best in the state. There's 2 for Bob McAllister. He has 7 early points, and it's a 10-7 Audubon lead.
I think that's going to be a foul on McGonigal.
It is indeed his first, team second. The Audubon will retain possession. You can see right there are the Audubon people right behind their bench all the way down to the end of the bleachers, filling almost half the court on one side of the court. Kicked into the backcourt by Bittner.
And you mentioned Paulsboro being in second place. That's rather unusual. They're known for their wrestling up there.
Right.
In both teams showing token pressure. I wouldn't call it a real tight press, either team, but
feed inside and up off the glass and good is Bill Grady. He's doing the basics inside, getting open and Putting it in off the glass. 6 points for Grady.
Impressed with Audubon the way they find the open man.
Bittner, that's McGonigal. Bob Gillender feeds low. McAllister hits.
And that's what Audubon, as we mentioned, is going to have to stop. They're going to either have to front McAllister or do something to prevent him from getting the ball down low like that.
Foul is on Jim Johnston, his first, team's third. Johnston's been drawing tough defensive assignments. He did a nice job on Pat Pruitt in a game you saw right here in this gym. He did a nice job in a win over Mainland with Danny Williams, the fine sophomore shooter for the Mustangs. And he's assigned to Shea Harvey here, and so far, Harvey hasn't shot the ball. Now there are Ocean City's in more of his own, but Johnston in the general area. Harvey too strong. Rebound by McGonigal. Scott Bittner. Kicked away by Rob Rossi. McAllister. They bring it back out to Bittner. Bittner going one-on-one, too strong. Rebound, however, is tipped out of bounds by the Green Wave.
Ocean City can cut it to one here with a bucket.
Comes into McAllister in the lane and got it.
Nice move.
11 points for Bob McAllister, and Ocean City trails 12-11. So he has scored 100% of their points with 1:16 to go in the first period.
Ocean City with that pressure.
Here's Harvey. Gets a chance to move, makes a nice pass to Grady.
Nice way to break that press. You bring the guy down and then he gets it up court.
8 points for Grady, 14-11. Audubon by 3. A minute left in the first period. Gillender from the foul line is short. Rebound McGonigal, and he hits. It's the first non-McAllister points for Ocean City.
Real nice body control on that shot.
McGonigal does have good body control, handles himself inside very well. And here's a jumper at the other end by DiLorenzo. He has 4 points.
Game heating up a little bit. We were throwing the ball away a lot early, and now they're trading baskets.
16-13 Audubon. 25 seconds remaining first period. Man to man. There's McAllister, gets a step, but he brings it back out. 15 seconds. Not a big fan of the play for one shot, unless you're really a tempo team.
Well, I don't think it helps you at the quarter. I think at the half maybe it's a little more important.
Johnston gets a good shot, though, at the baseline and hits it with 3 seconds remaining. And Ocean City cuts that lead to 16-15 at the end of one period here at the intermediate school. We'll be back with the second quarter after this.
I wonder if you know about one of the major growth stories of our time. Its growth rate, in fact, has exceeded that of the gross national product for the past 25 years. Unfortunately, it's a disease. A disease that is a major contributor to heart disease, kidney disease, and blindness. A disease that took the life of my wife, Mary. Diabetes. We've got to put it out of business.
Tom Gard talking with his basketball team. That's Jeff Eckerson, number 30. Tom Delosier, number 23. You'll see them later in the game. Delosier's a sophomore, just coming off an injury. Eckerson, a junior. And, of course, Joe Farina, number 22, who is in the game, or coming back into it. Has a lot of interesting combinations, Tom Gard, that he can put together with the personnel that he has. And only losing 2, Gillender and Johnston.
And he's got the big one back.
That's right. And Bittner with the inside and the outside. It really makes him a threat. There's no doubt about it. Harvey turns it over. Bittner gets the layup.
Now the momentum's changing the other way, as you mentioned.
There's Harvey. It's short. Rebounded by Bittner. A lot of spirit in this game.
Yeah.
Two schools that haven't played each other for who knows how long.
So a lot of it has to do with the fact that Audubon did bring some people down here.
Right. Foul is called on George Gale, who's just into the game as the second period starts. It's the 4th team foul against the Green Wave. A lot of that might have to do, Butch, don't you think Colonial Conference is a lot like the Cape Atlantic League, or at least the teams around here in the Cape Atlantic League, in that one community kind of leads into another.
Yeah, it sure does.
You go from Haddonfield to Audubon without even knowing it if you're on the White Horse Pike or something. And they have that type of spirit up there, and I guess some of it rubs off when they play outside the league. Who's that foul on? Farina? I think it was 22.
Yeah, you have a couple of regional schools in the. Of course, the Colonial Conference has expanded. You have teams like West Deptford, and you have, of course, Woodbury and West Deptford are right next to each other, and Paulsboro. But a lot of those schools are out there on the White Horse and Black Horse Pike areas.
Of course, with the recent expansion of the league and Cape Atlantic League now into 2 divisions over the last 6 or 7 years. There's the first point, by the way, by Shea Harvey. That you got those long trips to Cumberland and Bridgeton and so forth. But Harvey misses the second free throw, and Farina has the rebound. So it's tied at 17. Ocean City with the ball. 1 minute into the second period.
Of course, Audubon was once in the late 50s and 60s a Group 3 school. Now they're down to Group 1.
No good by McGonigal. McAllister rebounds, shoots off balance, and is fouled. Fouled, I think, by Grady.
Yeah.
No. Foul, excuse me, it's called on Rob Rossi.
I think Audubon lost when Haddon Township opened up. I think there's similar areas. You wonder where they lost all those students.
McAllister now with 12 points. Point out that his career high is 31 against Millville in the Wildwood Catholic Christmas Tournament.
Jeff Eckerson set to come in.
Probably for McAllister, since he didn't come in after that first shot. Rebound by Rossi. Harvey almost threw it away. That's Harvey for 3. Yes.
Still never going to get used to that signal.
Some of the officials aren't used to it.
Blocking foul.
It's called against Di Lorenzo. His first, but Audubon's over the limit, so it'll be a 1-and-1. And what happened to Eckerson? I think you're allowed to do that.
Tom Gard changed his mind.
So once you reported in, you had to go in. Bittner missed a free throw, which of all the Ocean City players, he's the one that does the best on the foul line.
But they get the ball back.
Yes, they do, and a timeout is called by Audubon. We have 6 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in the first half. As you look at the Audubon Green Wave and the Ocean City cheerleaders coming into your picture, take a look at them as we remind you that we have 2 more events coming up this week. And we'll get our first look next week at the Ospreys from Stockton State as they play their annual, well, twice a year, South Jersey rival in Glassboro. Stockton is playoff bound, it looks like, though it's a very interesting schedule situation, Butch. After this game, which will be played on Wednesday night at Stockton, we'll have it for you. It's going to be a little bit delayed, a week from tomorrow. It'll be on Tuesday, February the 9th. After this game with Glassboro, the Ospreys play their final 6 games on the road in the conference, and one of them is a non-conference game, I think, with NYU. But it's really a challenging schedule, but I think they're in a position now that they're going to be in the playoffs. Another good job by Jerry Matthews, and of course, he's going to have to really turn in a great performance to top last year.
Yeah. There's 2 ways to look at it. Sometimes it's better open the season, have more games on the road. Sometimes it's nice to have that position.
Right. That was Jim Johnston. 20-20 is the score. Harvey was shut out in the first period. He scored all 4 of Audubon's points here in the second period. There's a 3-point attempt by Harvey. It's also good.
Hey, see how I got 30 to win.
Yes. 23-20, Audubon.
Funny shot he has.
Yeah, it's almost like a running set shot or something.
It's not shot from straight up. It's the side of one of his, one side of his head.
That's an offensive foul on Joe Farina. We weren't sure about a foul earlier, but if we were right, if it was against him, that's his third. And Chris Caridio is up to report in for Ocean City. So maybe it is, but I would tend to doubt it. I think he would have been out of there with 2. Caridio is a freshman. 5'9". Going to be a good shooter.
Probably gets a little extra instruction at home, too.
Yeah, here's Harvey. He got it.
Woo. Started out slow, but so a lot of good shooters are.
Ocean City's going to go back to that man. Jim Johnston was on him and on him very effectively. There's Bittner. It's too strong. Rebound, McAllister. Good. 14 points for McAllister out of Ocean City's 22. But the Raiders are now down 4 on strength of 10 points here in the second period already by Shea Harvey. Down the lane and good. That's George Gale, his first 2 of the game.
That's when you've been killing them from the outside, go inside once in a while.
5 minutes remaining in the first half. It's 28-22. McAllister.
Very good ball handler for a big guy.
Bittner tripped. Foul is called on Gale. That's his second. Scott will go to the line for 1-on-1. Coming into the game. Well, I thought they were sending Gillender back into the game. Bittner's on the line. He's got 1-on-1. 28-22, Audubon by 6, 4:49 remaining in the first half. Scott Bittner hits the free throw. He's 1 for 2 now on the line tonight. 3 points. Cuts the lead to 5. And they're both good. 4 points for Scott Bittner. Ocean City shifting defenses. It's one of the things that causes other teams problems sometimes. Here's a shot up and no good, but it's tipped out of bounds by McGonigal.
Yeah, but you wonder how many times they want to do it in this game, because I think they want to stay away from playing too much zone with a guy like Harvey.
Right. Well, that's what's gotten them into trouble here. Ball stolen by McGonigal. Good hands. 4-on-3 break. Finds Johnston. And he gets it.
Nice move. Turn around off the glass.
Johnston's gained a lot of offensive confidence since having a fine game against Holy Spirit when Bittner was absent and they needed more offense from him. There's a whistle inside, and the foul is called on Chris Caridio.
Trying to reach over the top. Got a little bit of the ball. And anytime you come from that direction, I think you're going to get a foul whether you hit the guy or not.
44, Ken Whalen is back in for Audubon. Joe Farina, 22, is back in for Ocean City. So obviously, Farina does not have 3 fouls. That one we weren't sure about. We guessed and we were wrong. 4:10 remaining in the first half, and it's now 29-26.
Guessing and being wrong is something I'm used to every time I go to the racetrack.
Both good. 30-26, Audubon by 4 in a competitive first half here at the Intermediate School in Ocean City.
Yeah, really good basketball.
Farina, Caridio, and McGonigal on the backcourt. That's McAllister down low with a turnaround. Good. Whew. 16 points for Bob McAllister.
He can hurt you with those power moves, and he can hurt you with the shooting the J. I'm going to sound like Dick Vitale shooting a J.
McGonigal draws the charge here, I think. They never have signaled offensive foul yet, but I'm sure that's what it is. Rob Rossi with a charge, his second foul.
Ocean City with a chance to tie right here.
It's been tied a couple times, but I don't know if Ocean City's been ahead. McGonigal. Back to McAllister, who gets it and puts it in.
Nice move.
18 points for Bob McAllister with still 3:29 left in the first half. And we're tied at 30. Audubon